2022 Ford Maverick Lariat all-wheel drive, $31,999. 2017 Infiniti QX60 all-wheel drive, $18,880. 21 Ford Mustang Mach-E all-wheel drive, $29,985. Local you trust, pre-owned vehicles you can afford.
Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. The last day of winter. Are we excited about that? Are we excited about the last day of winter? Spring officially arrives tomorrow. It's not really going to feel like spring. Well, I guess it will, right? The spring months are kind of up and down and all around, but definitely a little bit of a chillier day, if you will. And we're talking mountain snow showers developing across the area tomorrow, through the day tomorrow as well. Good morning, Julie, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us this morning. Got Aaron and Katrina and Eva and Krista. Good morning. How was everybody doing this morning? Everybody ready for spring? Did you love the weather yesterday? Hopefully you had a chance to enjoy it. If not, don't worry. You have today. Today's going to be another warm but windy day around East Tennessee. I want to start you off first things first with a view of the mountains here this morning. Not the mountain, the mountains, where we are expecting some stronger wind gusts. So this is downtown Gatlinburg. You can check out these live cameras with the East Tennessee Weather app as well by scanning that QR code and download it from the website. But windy conditions across the mountains through the day today, as we do have a wind advisory. No high wind warning for the mountains, which is a good thing, but definitely a windy day. How about yesterday? We topped out at 73 degrees, 69 in Crossville, 75 Chattanooga, and 68 degrees in the Tri-Cities area. Good morning, Chris. How are you? And Lee? Oh, the camel. It is Wednesday. Sorry. Lee, what would you do? What would I do without you? There we go. Well, here's the camel. It'll come back when I get on full screen, but he was sleeping, Lee. He was sleeping with the dogs back here. That's what he was doing. That's right. We do have Ed Rupp coming up here, so you don't want to forget about that. If you're new to the show, yes, Ed Rupp, the camel. It's hump day, baby. I think we have Ed Rupp today. Do I have Ed Rupp? I think I do. Maybe I don't have Ed Rupp today. I'm going to have to bring him back. I've been kind of rebuilding some stuff. Obviously, you probably have known that there have been some changes in the presentation, so it takes a while to kind of build things back up, but I'll see if I can't get Ed Rupp back on today. All right. So yesterday was definitely a nice, pleasant day. It's a little bit chilly during the morning hours. We went out and took a nice little hike at Aspire Park in Clinton, and it was a little chilly with that breeze, but once the wind stopped, and then as we got into about the 3 to 4 o'clock hour, you're like, oh, it is kind of warm. All right, so high clouds, warm, gusty wind, and high fire danger today. I can't tell you the last time that we've had so much high fire danger this late winter season, early spring. I know we typically get the wind during the change in the seasons, but I don't remember having so many wind advisories and red flag warnings. Anyways, light rain tonight with crashing temperatures on Thursday. Well, not too terribly crashing, but it is going to be much colder. Mostly dry this weekend, which is good news, with heavier rain Sunday night. Of course, again, download the East Tennessee Weather app, scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. So here's your wind advisory. No high wind warning, watch, just a wind advisory. This goes into effect from noon and lasts till 11 o'clock here tonight. Winds are going to be out of the southwest, anywhere from about 15 to 25 sustained, and gusting to about 40, 45 to even 50-plus mile per hour winds across the highest peaks of the Smokies. I know, Katrina, I'm going to try to get him on here. See if I can't find him. I'll get him on either way you look at it. Okay, we'll bring Ed back. I think I can be able to do that. All right, so we have a red flag warning for the mountains of East Tennessee, and then a special weather statement for the valley locations, and that all that is doing is highlighting the extreme or elevated fire danger that we have. So no burning. I know some counties have already taken away the burn ban that we had in effect. They've already lifted it, but we do have that elevated fire danger once again here today. All right, futurecast wind. Let's walk you through this because the winds are relatively light today. They were a little breezy yesterday. Today, they're going to be rather gusty, and that's really going to take place as we get past the lunch hour. I think that's really when the winds are going to be the strongest. You can see this forecast wind gust. Watch as we get closer to the evening hours, though, across the mountain counties. So from Monroe County through Blount, Sevier, Cocke, and Greene County, and maybe Washington County as well, across the mountains and the foothills. That's when we're expecting the strongest winds as we get closer to sundown because the cold front's going to be approaching and that low-level jet stream really starts to crank up. And so places like Maryville, we'll say Wallen, Townsend, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, of course, Newport, all the way into, say, Cosby and the Greenville area in Tellico Plains, all could see some pretty strong wind gusts through the evening hours. So kind of anchor down anything loose if you're joining us from the mountain counties. Look at these morning temperatures, though. Nice, right? Feels good outside. It's not too terribly cold. We're currently in well, we have an array of temperatures. Let me go back to that for a second. Where we have had light wind, by the way, temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. So it is chillier. So like Morristown, Rogersville, Dandridge, kind of coming in the lower 40s and 30s and 40s. Where we've had the stronger wind, or the breezier wind. When you have wind during the overnight hours, it doesn't allow temperatures to really temperatures to come on down. It keeps the air mixed up. But we are trending warmer this morning than what we were yesterday, so at least we've got that going for us. Lunchtime temperatures will be in the 60s, so that's going to be nice, and forecast high temps back into the 70s. It'll be so nice. Anybody looking for something to do with your kids because they're on spring break? I keep saying fall break. On spring break, good kite flying day, by the way. Go grab yourself a kite. Hobbytown's got some great ones over there in Turkey Creek if you're in and around that area, or your local stores in your communities. Great kite flying weather ahead of us today. I don't think the winds will be too strong. So if you've not flown a kite for a long time, your kids have never flown a kite. I don't know how many people go fly kites these days. Not too many, but I always talk about it. We go fly a kite every once in a while. Good morning, Scott. How are you this morning? Got Lisa joining us as well. All right, so the evening forecast. How many of you are running around town taking kids to practice some ball games? I know Julie's been doing that. We're getting ready to start baseball, so we have baseball games during the weekday. And we have some practices, I think, on the weekend. It's kind of a weird schedule. Anyways, we're going to be starting baseball here real soon. All right, here we go. So let's pick up our future cast. I'm going to pick it up at 11 o'clock tonight. Nothing to show you during the day today. Here's our cold front. And the cold front's going to spill in some... Not a ton of rain. You know, we need the moisture, and obviously we need the moisture because we have elevated fire danger. And that's the only reason why the National Weather Service, by the way, has said they're not going to issue a red flag warning for the valley, is thanks to the rainfall that we saw this past weekend. Thursday morning, we're going to start off with some clouds. Then we'll see some sunshine. It's going to be very similar to what we experienced on Sunday. Steady to falling temperatures during the day. Remember, we had a little bit of sunshine, then those clouds really filled back in, and we're going to become mostly cloudy, if not just rather overcast throughout the day on Thursday, and maybe a couple of spotty light showers. I think the colder air moves in aloft in the mountains right around sunrise tomorrow morning, and we may continue to see the upslope orographic lift snowfall. That's a mouthful. Orographic lift. It means the air's running perpendicular to the mountains. And so when that happens, it forces the air to rise. And when you lift the air and push it up in the atmosphere, it cools, it condenses. And when it's cold enough, we're going to get snowfall. So look at that. The snow's really going to be hammering down throughout the day. So really from lunchtime through about sundown on Thursday, I think that's when the heaviest snow is going to be falling across the mountains. And by Friday morning, we should have some nice snow-capped Smokies. Rainfall amounts with this system, pretty lackluster. We've been saying, generally speaking, about less than 1/4 of an inch of rain. I think that's generally holding true, maybe even less than that in some locations. Which still is all-encompassing, I get it when I say less than 1/4 of an inch, but maybe less than 1/10 of an inch in some locations. All right, so we can't rule out some light snow showers across the plateau. No accumulations expected there, but do anticipate maybe a couple of snow showers or flurries, maybe throughout the day on Thursday, although it's going to be during the daytime, so... Can't rule that out. Not expecting a whole lot. Where we are going to see the snowfall, though, is I'm going to go about 2 to 4 plus inches. Some models are indicating upwards of 4 to 6 across the mountains, but most are, generally speaking, are about 2 to 3 across the mountains of East Tennessee. So we could get quite a bit. And anybody traveling 441 over the Smokies, it may be closed due to snow and ice. We'll see what the Park Service does. Of course, they're the ones who issue that, and I usually retweet that when they issue that out. So you can always join me on Twitter as well. All right, so forecast low temperatures tonight. Colder air is going to come on in. It's really going to drop pretty quickly once that cold front passes us. So we start off basically in the 40s and 50s, and then we'll see those temperatures stay fairly steady throughout the day and then steadily fall, and that means frost is going to be forming Friday morning. So I do anticipate some frost or widespread frost Friday morning. Cott County Schools, spring break starts March 28th. That seems like a late spring break for Cott County. All right, let's highlight that weekend forecast. Got a lot of weather maps to talk about this morning. 6:13, by the way. I guess I have a clock there in the bottom left. I keep looking at my giant clock in the wall. I don't know why I do that. And I'm always having I did that during severe weather coverage as well, when I literally have a clock right there. All right, so Saturday at 65 degrees, Sunday at 71. That's not bad. That's the warm before our next cold front arrives as we get into Sunday night. I think Saturday will have maybe some light morning rain showers across the Tennessee-Kentucky border. Can't rule that out. Got a little wave swinging its way to our north, but not a big deal. I think most of Saturday is going to be quiet and dry with partly cloudy to maybe even mostly sunny skies as that disturbance slides off across the eastern seaboard. So it's still going to be a pleasant day. Sunday, increasing clouds, increasing wind. Next cold front arrives Sunday night into Monday morning, and that's going to bring rain late in the day on Monday. Here's that storm system. This one actually is not going to be originating from the Pacific. This one's originating to our north, and it's going to dive its way across the upper Midwest, down into the Great Plains, and then move its way into the southeastern U.S. Well, the mid-Atlantic anyways. So we'll stop our timeline there at 7 o'clock on Sunday. There's our storm system to our north and west, and then it will slip its way on through. But I really wanted to highlight the weekend forecast. That's that little wave. Saturday morning, see that little wave? That's a little wave that could bring maybe a couple of light showers across the Tennessee-Kentucky border Saturday morning. But again, not a big deal there. So really not a whole lot of activity going on. And then as we get into our Sunday, you can see how the clouds are going to increase. And I don't think we'll have much precipitation throughout the day on Sunday. We'll see what that little wave is being introduced to. From maybe the warm front might bring us a couple of spotty showers. But for the most part, I think late Sunday into early Monday, here comes that frontal boundary. That slides its way on through. The low stays across the Great Lakes, and that's where we're going to still see more snow showers. So Old Man Winter is not done across the country quite yet. Typically not this time of the year. So your 7-day outlook for rainfall, generally speaking, about a half an inch, probably lesser amounts across the Northern Valley, the Northern Mountains, but the Southern Valley and the Cumberland Plateau probably could see about a half an inch to maybe even higher amounts. We'll see what that storm system does Sunday night into Monday morning. All right, let's dive into the details on that 7-day forecast. Average high for this time of year, 62. So we're trending 15 degrees above average today. Showers tonight. Cooler first day of spring tomorrow. We're down to 52 degrees. So we'll have 40s and low 50s. And then but really going to be 40s for the most part. That's just our official high, but that's probably first thing in the morning, really, to be honest with you. And then Friday, we're at 60, 65 on Saturday. Sunday, we're at 71. Showers Sunday night. In the Monday morning, we'll have to watch out for that next system Sunday into Monday to see if we get any thunderstorms with that. Some models indicating some instability in the atmosphere, and if that's the case, then we'll probably get some thunderstorms. I don't necessarily know that we'll have necessarily severe weather, so we'll definitely keep you posted on that. What's up, Irvin? Hello from Kodak. How are you? Thanks for joining us here this morning. All right, so then Monday we're at 67, and then we'll drop back down to the upper 50s on Tuesday. So that roller coaster of a ride continues. Tis the season, right? All right, let's go to the chat. I've kind of been keeping an eye on it. I'm done with Old Man Winter, says Katrina. I think all of us are kind of done with Old Man Winter. Although, would you like one big snowstorm this spring? Wouldn't it be great just to have like another blizzard? Yay, nay, no, yeah, no, maybe not. The golf course was extremely wet yesterday. Well, that's why we don't have a red flag warning for the valley. If we didn't have that rain, we would definitely have a red flag warning. Let's see. We got Pam joining us. Good morning, folks. What's up, Seth? How are you, man? Are you working? You working today? My wife is working today. If you ever see my wife in the hospital, just give her a high five or a hug and say, hey. Especially with the work that she did with helping out with severe weather coverage on Saturday night. Couldn't have done it without her because she was really helping to field some of those social media conversations and questions. We've got Autopilot joining us this morning. Good morning from Ringgold, Georgia again. Hey, how are you? How are the storms for you there in Ringgold? Julie says, no snow, Witcher. Just for the mountains. You know, it's always pretty for this time of the year in the mountains. Again, you know, you got a lot of folks, it helps tourism, I guess. Maybe it doesn't really help it, but folks who may be coming here for spring break from other parts of the country. It's mind-blowing to me, by the way, how many people in this country have never seen snow. There's quite a few. I meet people all the time who have never seen snow. Could you imagine? I mean, I grew up in Denver, so I wouldn't even know any different, but another what? No more. Come on. Where's your sense of adventure, people? Come on. Okay, there we go. Kimberly says, just one more blizzard. In due time, I'm sure we will have another blizzard in due time. It's been quite a long time. She says, Lisa says, no way, I'm ready for spring. Yeah. Spring is, I do like this time of the year. It was great being outside yesterday. You know, it's always deceiving. And when you have a kid like my kid asks me every day, all right, Dad. And he looks at it's funny because he's always like, what's Dad's app say? So he always goes to the app and looks at the daily forecast, daily temperatures, because he looks at his recess and he looks at the times that he's going to be playing with his friends. And he's always like, okay, so what do I wear? I go, buddy, it's going to be chilly in the morning, cool during the lunchtime, and warm during the afternoon. Welcome to spring. You have to dress in layers just to get through the day. I actually did wear shorts yesterday and a jacket when we were out at Aspire. But, you know, it was kind of chilly. When the wind was blowing, it was chilly. And then once that wind relaxed, it definitely felt much, much warmer. No way, Jose. I get canker sores. If I bite my tongue, I'm getting one. And then I won't be able to talk. Oh, you're taking the girls to Dig Zone in Sevierville on Friday. Hey, Julie, we haven't even completed our Dig Zone with the kids yet. We've tried a couple times, and then it's been rainy and colder. It's not really had a chance to do much of that. Let's see if I'm ready for the sun to start coming up just a little bit earlier. I always like to look at my cameras, but I'll show you another great view. Let's just take you back. I started the show with this one, but might as well start it again. Might as well show you again. That's Monroe County Airport. We'll just take on a little camera tour here this morning. I showed you downtown Gatlinburg. We'll take you to Hardin Valley. So not a bad view there. Remember, I was showing that camera live on the air during severe weather coverage. That was cool. And then let's see. We'll show you Corrington, but that one seems to not be up and running. Oh, there it goes. We can get it loaded. It's still dark outside this morning, but you can see those, kind of barely see those high-level clouds out to get the day started. So high-level clouds will start to enter the area as our next cold front approaches. You have similar weather to Atlanta. The persistent east float, let's see, what'd you say? Tamps down the severe storms out of Alabama. Yeah, which is nice. I mean, you know, they get a lot more severe weather. Alabama, southern middle Tennessee, of course, Mississippi and Louisiana. Let's see. I know, we need to go soon, Julie. Come on. You know, Caden's always asking me. And last time we were up there at the trampoline park, I forget what it's called. Anyways, in Sevierville, Caden's always like, when are we going to go to that dig zone place? So, Felicia, have you ever been, first of all? And second of all, if you've not, are the kids excited? It seems like a pretty cool place. That's funny because my kids ask, what does Mike say about it? Yay! I love it. I love that the kids get involved with weather. You know, you get to a certain point of life where the little kids care about weather, you know, to a certain point, some of them anyways. I think once you get to a certain point of life, high school, college, you don't really care about it. And then maybe as a young professional, you start to care a little bit more about weather. When you get married and have kids, you start to care about the weather a little bit more because you're shuttling kids around. You're having to try to get them dressed. It's a little bit harder. And of course, if they're playing sports this time of the year, it can be chilly. Baseball practice on, what was it, 2 nights ago? On Monday night was on the cold side. We were not out there because we've not started baseball practice yet. Felicia, I've been trying to field through a bunch of emails, so I have not gotten your email. Well, I've seen it. I'm trying to respond to everybody, so I'm going to get to responding to a lot more people today. And if you've ordered merch, I'm still going to fulfill those orders. Got a lot going on, and that severe weather just wore me out. I was exhausted for the last 2 days. I was exhausted. All right, Katrina says, let's dance, shall we? Time to take a look at the national holidays for the day today. Again, we'll take you back outside for just a moment of time. How about Union County? Big shout out to Maynardville this morning. Let's take you to Union County, shall we? A nice, quiet start to the day. A mild start. Now, Union County could have some chillier temperatures, and depending if you've had the wind taking shape here this morning. But if you haven't had the wind, your temperatures are chilly. If you've had the wind, temperatures are not so chilly. Whoa, so many different voices and things going on. All right, let's take a look at those national holidays here to get the day started. All right, here's your national holidays. And of course, it is March 19th, the last day of winter. Of course, we're technically in meteorological spring right now, but the last day of winter is today. It arrives tomorrow morning. Let's see. So we're celebrating birthdays and events. So celebrate the season, or rather, the ending of the season. It's National Backyard Day. I like this. Today's going to be a great day. Maybe skip the backyard and go to the park, like I said, and go fly a kite. Or go take a hike. So if somebody tells you to take a hike today, don't take offense to it. Say, okay, I will take a hike today. If you can muster up the energy, right? Got to get that blood flowing. It is National 3D Day. What is that all about, 3D Day? National 3D Day celebrates the art, science, and history of the stereoscopic 3D imagery. Every year in March, on the third day of the week of the third week of the third month, we explore the technologies used to create 3D photographs, movies, and art. And we celebrate many ways that these images have been viewed and enjoyed. I will say, I think this is really cool, actually, because I think 3D art is really cool. Have you ever seen 3D art where you look at it in one direction and then you walk around and you're like, it gives a totally different perspective or a different feature, or you look at something that looks flat and then you look at it a different way, and it's crazy. 3D art is crazy. 3D movies. I'm surprised 3D movies. I mean, my first 3D movie was Jaws, like back in what, 1982? 4? I don't know, whenever Jaws came out in 3D. And I remember spilling my popcorn because Jaws was like, roar. Came in, whoa, popcorn goes flying. I was a little kid then. Yes, I'm an 80s kid. But I'm really shocked, to be honest with you, that we don't have more 3D movies. I know they're expensive to make, but I know we have the 4DX movies. Have any of you been to a 4D movie? The 4DX. I have not been to one yet. My kids are really wanting to go to a 4DX movie. So we're going to try. I think there is a new one for the kids that's either just came out or is getting ready to come out. I just don't know if I want to be shaken the entire movie and squirted with water. I'm just not heard. I've heard people leave during them, and I've heard some people really, really like them. But either way, it is National 3D Day. It's also National SBDC Day. Anybody know what that is? It's the third Wednesday in March. During the third Wednesday in March, National Small Business Development Centers Day recognizes the thousands of small business developers across the country supporting entrepreneurs in the pursuit of small business ownership. Big shout out to them. The National Small Business Development Centers Day. That's what that is. And big shout out to them who help small businesses like myself. The Chamber of Commerce's around town help small business and entrepreneurs like myself. It is crazy. If you've never owned your own business, it is mind-blowing on how much work there is to be done. That's what I was telling Julie yesterday. She was texting me and she was like, hey, have you called so-and-so yet about a school visit, which I will get to? I said, Julie, I am trying my best to field through all these conversations and emails and social media. And, vacuuming the studio every once in a while and wiping things down every once in a while and getting out and selling and setting up sales meetings and looking at analytics constantly. Since I'm digital, I can find analytics every day, which, by the way, big shout out to all of you. Huge shout out to all of you. Because, A, you showed up in droves during my severe weather coverage. Droves. My biggest event so far, and I am so grateful because East Tennessee weather continues to grow because of you all. Not only sharing what I put on social media, sharing the app with your loved ones and friends and coworkers and family members. I mean, that is literally what a small business needs, is you to spread the word, because I'm not advertising. Small businesses, it's tough for small business to advertise. But if you are a small business, I do have opportunities on the East Tennessee Weather platform for you to advertise within your budget. And if you are interested in that, you can always hit me up, Mike at easttnweather.com, or go to the website, easttnweather.com. Click on the contact link. I do actually have a form for you to fill out. Comes to a separate folder so I can keep advertising and school visits and everything else a little bit more separated. All right. Anyways, moving right along, National Certified Nurses Day. Big shout out to the love of my life, who I watched to go through nursing school. My wife, Janelle, who helped during severe weather coverage, by the way, which many of you do know. Watch her go through nursing school. I've never seen somebody work so hard, nursing or doctors or anybody in the medical field, but of course it's National Nurses Day, so we're concentrating on them. It's an incredibly difficult job, not just to get through school, not just to pass the tests, but just to do the job on a day in and day out basis. You don't get enough respect. It is a very incredibly hard job with the nurse to patient ratio going up. You know, nurse to patient ratios in a lot of places used to be like 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. Now you're pushing 6, 10, 8, 12 to 1. And that is a very tough job. So if you ever get into a hospital, God forbid, you know what? Give those nurses some grace. Give them some patience. I know you're in there for not probably a good reason. So you're probably in pain. But give them a little bit of grace. They are working very, very hard. So thank you to all the nurses here in East Tennessee and, of course, across the country. All right, let's move right along. National Let's Laugh Day. Oh, I like that. I like to laugh. Laughter keeps us young. There's nothing better than laughter. My family and I went out to dinner. I'm just telling you a bunch of stories this morning. Sorry about that. We went out to dinner the other night, and my kids just started to get in the giggles. And then my wife and I started to get in the giggles, and we were literally in the middle of like a restaurant, and we were uncontrollably laughing. It was so funny. And it's like, if you see somebody laughing, it's kind of contagious. So National Let's Laugh Day. Turn that frown upside down, right? National Chocolate Caramel Day. All right, many of you know I don't like chocolate, but I do love caramel. And if you combine the two, I'm okay with that. So let's celebrate National Chocolate Caramel Day. And there's nothing better than salted caramels, in my personal opinion. And it's National Poultry Day. What would we do without chicken? We need some chickens in our lives. Oh my gosh, that's all the national holidays for the day today. Thanks for sticking with me in all my shenanigan stories. It's so nice outside. We'll take you back outside. For those of you I don't know, these are East Tennessee weather cameras. Oh, and I do have some more that are getting ready to go up. I have like 5. We were counting them the other day. I think I have like 5 or 6 cameras available to go up around East Tennessee. I am going to get one. It looks like I'm going to be getting one in downtown Clinton somewhere. I've got one that's going to be coming out soon. I should just like keep you on your toes, but I won't. It's going to be out soon. It's looking towards the dam off of Lake Loudon. And the sunrises and the sunsets from this camera are just mind-blowingly gorgeous. And it's really going to help folks who want to get out on the lake to really check in on those cameras every once in a while because it's right on the lake. Clinch Mountain Restaurant is coming down the pipeline as well. Shh, don't tell anybody these secrets. I don't want anybody to know that where I'm putting cameras up. Shh, erase that. Erase all of that. Anyways, if you have a great location, a couple of people have already reached out, said, hey, listen, I've got a great view. If you've got a great location for a good camera, hit me up, mike@easttnweather.com. Take a picture of your view and let me know what the view looks like. If you think it's a great view, it's probably an amazing view, but I need weather cameras. I've got enough in Knox County. So we need to start spreading the love to other counties. We've got Union County. We've got Sevier County. I would love one in Greene County and Cott County. So if you know any businesses there, hit me up, mike@easttnweather.com. Let's spread the love of some cameras around East Tennessee, which we can use during severe weather coverage, which you can check in on from time to time. What's up, Tom? How are you this morning? Running late to the party, are you? Are you running late to the party, bud? Maybe not. You can't see 3D movies blind in the right eye, so it doesn't work for me. Ooh, I guess it would not. And I wonder if it would work if folks are colorblind. Because, you know, there's colors in there. I wonder if that is true. Are you colorblind? Can you see a 3D movie? I don't know. Good morning, Kevin. How are you this morning? Tell the family I said hi. Oh, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you as well. And I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Let's see. Think a bit more Chattanooga, North Georgia coverage. I have about 15 people added to the app now. Nice. It's a vacuum here, a hole of, if you will, between you and North Alabama's channel. Well, you have TV stations down there as well, but remember, East Tennessee Weather covers all of East Tennessee, and really the app is really just going to be your one-stop shop. I mean, if you want to come in and check out the daily forecast weather updates, great. If you don't, that's fine too. If you just want to use the app for temperatures and radar, great. Severe weather coverage, hopefully I'm up and populated on the app. I should be this morning. If you don't see me on the app this morning, if you wouldn't mind opening up the app, if you don't see me, click on your daily forecast weather updates and then go back and click on the orange TN with the white lightning bolt. That's your tip and trick. Tip and trick is click on the orange TN and the white lightning bolt top left-hand side of the screen. That takes you right back to the homepage. That should kick in the app. The problem is, and I think I talked about this the last couple of days, because I've gotten some people to reach out to me about this, and so we got to fix this issue. Make sure people are aware. The problem is when you open up an app on your cell phone, it stays running in the background. Even if you have to either force close it, but it stays running in the background for X amount of times, whatever that is for each app. I'm not quite sure. Just to save power on your cell phone, so it's not constantly pulling data, and to save energy and information from these businesses and companies that we get apps from. So like when you open up my app, it actually pulls data the second you open it up. But the problem is if it's running in the background and I launch the live update on the app itself, it will not launch unless you either force close it or click something else and then come back to the homepage. Then it will launch it, because then the app says, "Oh, I have to refresh. I have to refresh," and that's kind of how all apps work. And I didn't know this until I owned an app. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Cheryl. Do I know that chickens are $21? I did not know that. Yeah, we need one in Morristown too, Julie. We still need that one in Morristown. Downtown Morristown would just be awesome. We were close, right? We were so close. See, that's why I probably shouldn't say where I'm putting these cameras up, right, Julie? There are people around town that steal ideas, and we don't like stealers. We don't like thieves. We've been dealing with thieves over the last year and a half since of East Tennessee Weather, and we don't like thieves. You can read between the lines, by the way. All right, happy Wednesday to you, Denise. And, yeah, I didn't. Okay, no, don't pour Ed Rupp here. Hold on, stand by. If you all missed Ed Rupp, we will get him on momentarily. I don't have him set up into the show, but I will be able to bring him up on the show. Ready? I think this would be it. Let's see if this actually works. No, we'll do this. How about this? I know what we'll do. Stand by. We're going to get Ed Rupp on the show. I actually thought I had him on here, but apparently I don't have him on this part of the platform. I thought I had him all set up and ready to go. But I don't. So we're going to do this. You are begging for Ed Rupp, so we're going to do things on the fly. You ready for this? See if this works. I don't know if it's going to work. Nope. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. That's too bad. Let's try this.
Wait for him. Wait for him. Bam! Now we slide all the way downhill to the week.
There we go. Let's see if this works.
Wait for him. Wait for him. Bam! Now we slide all the way downhill to the weekend. The kids can get ready for school, and Debbie can take her shower. Oh, Mike!
Ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That's Ed Rupp. Sorry about that. We'll get that done later. We'll fix that later. I'll have Ed Rupp on next week. How about that? That's all I can do. Have a great day, hump day. Oh, my goodness. That's all I can do. All I can do. All right, 6:38. We had a lot of forecasting to do. If you missed any of the forecast, don't forget, once this shuts down, you can go back and rewatch it and get the latest update. Check out the East Tennessee Weather app. Scan that QR code at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Don't forget that East Tennessee Weather is everywhere, from Roku TV, Amazon Fire, YouTube, social media. the website and the app as well. We've got live cameras. It's a wealth of weather information right in our own backyard. There we go. All right, my friends, have a great day. We'll see you back here for Wake Up with Witcher starting off at 6 o'clock in the morning. Please help spread the word of East Tennessee weather. You're doing such a fine job already. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.